as a parent with kids, and even dealing with spouses, as to, now you say not to worry too much about the effect you're having and to not necessarily watch for that. But if you want to try and help them go from a negative place to a positive place, especially kids, what would you suggest?
It depends on the state that they're in the moment. If we're talking about a child who is in a state of flux, is in a state of anger, is in a state of extremes, let's say. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Meaning being on the far end of anger, or even in the state of anger, being upset. The first thing to do is to allow a cool off period, and you all do this, to take the time to just cool off, to breathe deep, encourage breathing deeply, bringing in the idea of calmness. And there will be kids that resist this, and you will not be able to encourage them to breathe deeply in those moments. It is in the moments when they are not upset that you can teach them these tools the best. So that when they are in the moment of being upset, you can then remind them of, remember when we talked about breathing deeply. It is for this moment. This is your tool now. This is yours to use should you choose. Should you choose. Should you choose. Give them the choice. It is always a choice. Always give them a choice. Somehow, always give them a choice. There may be moments, and we understand, that choices will be limited, if at all. There may be moments when there is not an option for a choice. But when you are able to always give your children a choice, always give people in general a choice, even from the business model, from the business perspective, giving people the opportunity to choose something, even if it's just choosing between one or two things, one or two avenues, one or two ideas, will give the person you are dealing with a sense of empowerment. It will allow them to tap into that idea of who they are, which is who they are, to be in a state of choice, to be the free will human being that they are. Children in particular want this free will more than adults do, because they are more connected to it. They are closer to that experience. They are younger. They haven't experienced life to the same degree. What they remember more is their free will, their individualization. They are here to make choices. They recognize this. They know this on a level that they don't necessarily understand. So teaching the tools of the emotions. When the child is in a state of neutrality, in a good, balanced, energetic state, this is where you have the opportunity to best teach. Not necessarily sitting down at a specific time, on a specific day to talk about emotions. This will create resistance instantly. It becomes contrived. It's in the moment. You're in the kitchen. You're doing the dishes. Something falls and breaks. Child gets upset. Why? Why are you upset right now? What is upsetting about this? How are you feeling? Help them put words to it. Are you feeling sad? Are they feeling angry? What are they feeling? Are they feeling overjoyed and they're laughing because they hated that particular plate? Who knows? Find out what they're feeling and allow them to tap into their own feelings. Allow them to put words to their feelings. When they figure it out, then the next time it happens, the glass falls, it breaks. Child is upset again. Why are you upset? I'm upset because I'm careless. Okay, well, let's work on being less careless if that's something that you would prefer not to be. Do you see where we're going with this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's an understanding of who you are that allows one to make the changes. But it's difficult to do when in a state of flurry, when in a state of confusion, when in a state of anger. It's best to learn these tools outside of the moment. So that when your child is in the moment, even in a happy moment, catch that as an opportunity. The child is overjoyed. Why are you so happy? What are you happy about? I love watching balloons fly in the air. What is it that you love about that? They don't know necessarily at first. Help them along. Is it the feeling of freedom? Is it the feeling of being imaginative, imagining where that balloon goes? Allowing them to expand on their creative powers will allow them to understand their emotions, will then allow them to understand that when in the state of an emotional influx, in other words, a heightened state of emotion, there's an opportunity to change the response or the reaction of that emotion by choosing a preferred emotion. As an example, the child is upset in a state of anger for whatever reason. Now you know you've discussed the ideas of joy, of happiness, of bliss, of peacefulness, because you've done that throughout the course of days that have come and gone. You've been working at this slowly, bringing it into conversation. Casual conversation is the key. Casual conversation while driving, while in the park, while in an activity. Bringing things up casually, relevant to the situation. Then the child will be able to reflect back on those moments. So you have the child who's in an anger state. You help them move through that. Why are you feeling angry? How is it making you feel? They may not want to talk about it at all in that particular moment. And then that's where you can allow them to take a few moments and take with them the idea of joy. Why don't you go sit for a while on your own? I'll leave you alone. And remember the feeling of joy. Remember the feeling that the balloon gave you. Think about this as opposed to what has made you feel sad. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Do you feel as though this would be helpful?
Yeah, I do.